how to create a personal training package you can sell once instead of selling pay-as-you-go, or blocks of 10 personal training sessions you're having to resell every 5 or so weeks. Let's dive into what these 6 steps are to help you create this package. Step number 1 is you need to have a target audience, people that you want to specifically work with, a demographic. So in my case, I wanted to work with people who are over 40. Why? Because they were the nearest to my age range and I felt I had the most in common with them. So give or take 5 or 10 years, that was my sweet spot. You'll have your own sweet spot you would like to work with. Okay, once you've identified your target audience, within that target audience, there are going to be certain problems that need to be solved. So for some people it might be lower back pain. Some people it might be they want to improve their sports specific training program so they can do better on the tennis court. For some people, and the most common one probably, is they want to lose weight. So in my case, it was weight loss. I was working with over 40s who wanted to lose weight. And the amount of weight they wanted to lose was in the region of 30 pounds as almost a minimum and upwards of that. So I've identified my audience, I've identified the pain point. You would need to do the same for whatever it is you are offering. Once you've identified the pain point, the next step is to work out, okay, how long do I think I would need to work with a person if all things were equal and they were doing everything that I would like them to do? How long would it take them to lose 30 pounds? I believe I could help them lose 30 pounds in a short space of time as 12 weeks. Now, I hear you saying, well, hang on, that's a bit quick. What about differences in terms of age? What about differences in terms of health, underactive thyroid, and all the other factors that can come into play? I get that, but I'm saying in the ideal world, if somebody was fit and able with minimal sort of injuries or minimal medical conditions, could they realistically lose 30 pounds in 12 weeks? And the answer in my head is yes, they could. Okay, so that's the time frame. The question then is, what are the specific steps they would need to take to be able to lose that 30 pounds in that 12-week period? So I had to think, okay, we're going to need to break it down to mindset. So what do I mean by mindset? Well, they're going to have to work on goal setting, they're going to have to work on some self-talk, they're going to have to work on their external environment. Okay, great, tick. What about nutrition? Well, we're going to have to talk about tracking their food probably. We're going to have to talk about maybe some hormone stuff. We're going to have to talk about meal prep. Okay, boom, check. What about exercise? I have to talk about how many times they'll be training when they're not with me, what sort of exercise will they be doing, what sort of equipment might they need at home to keep the momentum going. So those are the steps, and those are some of the things I'm going to be talking about within my coaching sessions. Step number 5, what resources, additional resources, might I want to have to help my clients become successful? Well, those could be in the form of journals maybe. It might be recommending some supplements, although not a resource in terms of what I would supply myself personally. Maybe you can, but I might be directing them to the local health and wellbeing shop to get some supplementation. It might be online support in the form of email support possibly. And then the 6th step is, how am I going to deliver this package? And there's 3 ways you can deliver it. 100% face-to-face, which is what I did originally. So in the room, in the studio, in the gym, going to the houses, 100% of the time delivering there and then. That was me delivering. A hybrid version of that might be, the second option you've got for delivery, is you deliver the physical training face-to-face, and then when it comes to the coaching elements where you might normally sit down and speak to them about certain things, you could either deliver that over Zoom, or if you're really clever, you could record those sessions, upload them to a platform, and they can access those coaching sessions independent of you. And the third option is, you might think, actually, you know what, I'm going to keep doing my face-to-face personal training, but I'm going to develop this other thing that's 100% online that they can buy into with minimal support from me to get a result. So that's how you create your personal training package that you can sell once, and if you're smart, you'd have add-ons that they would naturally fall into, versus selling pay-as-you-go and blocks of 10. And the other thing to mention is, an additional program you want to cover and create is a reboot program. So when people finish their program with you, at the end of it you say, fantastic, well done, but look, we both live in the real world, and sometimes you can possibly fall off the wagon and things can start to go backwards a little bit. If that happens, please contact me, but also know that I'll be contacting you as well, because I do have other programs that you could potentially book into if you need to. For example, my reboot program. So you are being realistic, but you're also positioning another program should they fall off the wagon, so that if you contact them, It's perfectly normal to do that. Hope you enjoyed this. Check out the next videos on screen now.